Morning all. After quite an easy first round, which I sort of won in 14 moves, I'll go over that in the next video. But I had a very tough game yesterday and I lost. It was a child prodigy, a 15-year-old 2390, I think, A.Mads, who's got 2 IM norms. I had prepared something against his Gruenfeld, and I don't know, with that preparation I had the assumption it was that I was playing some gambit line, but it's sort of it was unfamiliar territory, so I just assumed, I was going to be playing gambit. But it became more than the game. It became just like being a pawn down for not much. Okay, so this is the line. So this is what happened. D4, and he did actually play the Gruenfeld as expected. So I prepared this Bishop G5 idea. Forget about C takes D5. We saw a lot of this in the Karpov versus Kasparov matches. All very, theoretical stuff. Maybe I should have gone for that, I don't know. But Bishop G5 I thought was an interesting move against my opponent, who seemed to be scoring that well in this line. It's a bit of a materialistic line for black. Because after knight e4, bishop h4, what's happening here is black's losing some of his kingside defense. This knight on f6 means maybe an h4, h5 is more effective than usual, because the h5 square is not there's no defensive knight on f6. That's just one implication. But further than that, black's being materialistic in this line. This is standard stuff here. So d takes c4, materialistic. So you might be thinking, what really is the compensation here? So e3, bishop e6. The bishop's a bit awkward here, protecting this pawn. And the point is that later, if white plays quietly, it seems white's been doing well at the high levels in this line, just with a simple move here. Forget rook b1. Although rook b1 is interesting as well, but this idea is very interesting. I thought bishop e2, because I'm into these like dynamic gambits. However, there comes a point of negotiation which I think is like the theme of this game, which I don't think I negotiated very well the position. I accepted being a pawn down, and not only that, sort of undoubling these two pawns. So these two pawns are currently doubled. It's the particular negotiation around this material imbalance here which is critical. So we both castle, and he plays a move which I think has only been played once before, c6, and there's a bad problem with it. In the lines I've been preparing, there's this idea that knight g5, bishop d5, e4, and then there's h6, ed, hg, bishop g5. So that's a pattern I'd looked at a few times in games which I've been preparing, and I don't know if that's affecting my calculation ability. But his next move creates new candidate moves to insert at various points in that transaction here. His next move is highly materialistic, highly cheeky, and should have totally backfired. It gives white basically potentially a theoretically clear advantage. Engine checking it, and it's working on a comment he made after the game. He admitted it would have been bad for him. So I think it was a blunder on his part to try and do this very ambitious idea of undoubling these pawns and holding on to being a pawn up. He plays c6, and it may not be immediately apparent why this is such a bad idea, because is he not improving on this whole mechanics thing? Knight g5, bishop d5, e4, h6, ed, hg, bishop g5. He's improving on it because there'll be c takes d at the end of it. That's the new candidate move he'll be putting in, c takes d5. But there's a new candidate move I could have put in, which I wonder if you can spot. Knight g5, bishop d5, Okay, we'll go in for this. So I'm trying to open this pawn or get compensation for my pawn. I mean, if these pawns were, if that pawn was still there and these pawns was, like doubled, then it wouldn't be such a problem if there was a pawn here and pawn here. It wouldn't be like a real extra pawn. But unfortunately, I've been biased a little bit by my preparation, and I played a routine move here. I played e4. Okay, fine so far. h6. Okay, I take on d5. He takes on g5. And I routinely capture on g5, thinking none the wiser that this position might have some compensation after CT. I thought this was a bit materialistic, not in the spirit of the Gruenfeld. But I wonder if you readers can, viewers can spot something here. After ED HG, if I give you 10 seconds with this position, do you spot anything else? Okay, starting from now. Okay, just D takes C6, believe it or not. I can let the bishop go here, based on that C6 move, because the C takes B7, just winning the rook. I completely missed this move. I was just in routine thinking with the preparation, and I'd never, it's just like if something is veered, but it was an uncomfortable territory anyway for me, this whole system. I was thinking, should I have played the English opening and just try and play quietly and not theoretically? I don't like going into people's pet lines, because what are the rules of the game? How can you negotiate properly positions if you don't really know, if you don't really have much expectations, because you're sort of clueless about the positions generally. So I had this expectation of just treating like a gambit, so I wasn't even looking for any other move here to try and not lose a pawn. It seems, I know it's crazy, but it was a routine bishop g5 capture without thinking here, snap decision, which is highly costly. I mean, he was looking, although not completely lost his position, it would be a significant advantage perhaps for white. This kind of position, sorry, knight g5, as he was demonstrating, that takes, so knight takes, say, bishop takes, and here he apparently missed a move. Apparently he'd seen this variation with queen a5, but staggeringly then, but he missed actually queen d2 himself. That's what he was saying in post-mortem. Queen d2. I mean, okay, it defends everything. The knight's sack doesn't work because the bishop's also defending the queen. Everything's defended here, and I can then play h4 and h5 and exploit the knight not being there on f6. And actually Rybka likes that idea, actually. In this position, no kidding, Rybka likes h4, h5 coming up here. Rook at ac8, I mean, comes in as a candidate move. Well, it did just then, just flicked in as a candidate move. Well, there's lots of things, but we're talking about a 0.70 theoretical advantage here. I know the position is not easy to play, so I'm going on about evaluation numbers here. It's not that easy to play, because black's got a kind of, he has got the frontal pressure against the d pawn, maybe objectively from a sort of easy to play. It's actually gone down to 0.57 now. Can you imagine if, okay, let's say I did slip up here. I'll play one passive move. Well, no, black plays e6. Let's just put in bishop f1. That actually in this position, actually, let's be objective. It's if we put in just one passive move here and say queen d5, then apparently it's just 0.21 anyway. It's nothing really to write home about, and it's not the sort of position I'm comfortable in anyway. So I don't know why I went into this whole system. Even if I did have this fantastic improvement, it's not really a big deal anyway, because it's not that easy to play. We can't be blinded by these evaluation numbers, but this looks like from a theoretical point of view anyway, it's a major improvement. But from a practical point of view, it's making the position more difficult to play, I guess. D takes c6, because there's going to be frontal pressure on the d pawn. Okay, That's cheered me up anyway. Even if it's completely untrue. No, it is true. Look, black's getting some different sort of counterplay in this gambit line. Well, gambit line, it'll be equal on pawns. So I go into a proper gambit now, just the pawn down. But I do weaken myself considerably unnecessarily. So I think so even here, even in this position, after h4, queen d6, Rybka starts liking white here, a pawn down. Believe it or not, gives a slight advantage. Type deep Rybka 4. It's giving us a 0.13. Well, it's going from 0. Actually, no, minus 0.03 now. But anyway, it's sort of a tenable position. Let's turn off the engines for the rest of the game. Sick of them. Right. Okay, G takes, and here I have this idea. I'm a bit worried here about black playing for like f5 and knight d7, f6 and e4, but it all takes time and all extra weakening moves. I didn't need to be worried. And I thought, because my centre's kind of more solid than usual here, that he's kind of violated the spirit of the Gruenfeld in some way by being so materialistic that I've got my trump card, the bishop pair. That can I use my trump card to just blast open this king position with f4, f5? It looked a bit tempting at the time, or especially f4, because then e5 might be a problem. So I thought f4, binds e5, me and my binding, but it's not so hot, especially after this next move, f5. I sensed there was something really wrong with f5, and I was right. Really, I should just be content to be pawn down here and with a worse position. But the problem is also black is going to hit the centre hard with b4. It's going to undermine that d4 square. This is a sitting target, this whole centre, and I hate the Grunfeld. I hate defending the centre in the Grunfeld. It's one of the things I hate. It's like the accounting of chess. I don't want to be responsible for the centre on the white side of a Grunfeld. It's not something I like at all. So why have I gone into this position? Anyway, so I thought, well, Spassky showed us that he could crush Fischer in a Grunfeld just by going for a crude kingside attack. So I suppose maybe I was inspired by that. Just f4, f5 the position. Go for black's king. But the centre is collapsing, and it's not very pleasant, because after d takes, queen takes, I should have at least protected the pawn, I think. But I take, and this is a major blunder actually, because I didn't realise he's really threatening to get the queens off now after queen takes c3, because he's got now queen d4s as well as attacking the rook. And if queen e2, I don't know, just rook e8. If queen f3 just takes, if queen g4, queen d4 check. This diagonal is just very painful. Win games and lose games with this diagonal. When someone plays f4, f5, it's highly controversial. Although you're going for the opponent's king, or seems to look good from certain angles, this is always a problem, it seems, from other angles. In games I win or games I lose, f4 or f5. Magnus lost with f5 in the first round in the elite section. It's just, I don't know, chess is just too complex. We play such moves, pawn moves, we don't really see the ramifications until later. And the ramifications here are pretty dire for white. This diagonal and this queen d4 check, it's a real pain. So I thought, okay, I'm 2 pawns down, let's just make it 3. Okay, there might be some compensation. So f6, stopping all this queen d4 stuff. He takes, so we get opposite colour bishops as well, and I'm thinking queen g4 to f5 might actually give me an attack, but it's all an illusion actually. Even in this line, it's an illusion that there's anything here. King h7, queen f5. There's the bishop. There's bishop check. Actually, let's not add the Kibitzer. Kibitzer will make mincing out of the position. What he played was very good anyway. Bishop g7. It seems okay. So rook ad1 check, and I'm setting up a few cheapos though. So if queen e6, there's bishop f7, And I thought, actually, even before, let's actually have a look at this position. I thought here I was getting excited. Big delay here. He was actually very concerned about his position. For different reasons to me in post-mortem. Rook A8, I was really excited by Queen G5, but this is absolutely nothing. Queen G5 has the threat of Bishop F7 fine, and Queen D8. But if he replies Rook D6, it doesn't matter about winning this pawn. I think just Rook H6 here, and I'm in trouble again. This pawn's like winning. There's no kingside attack. In fact, my king's vulnerable in this H file and this diagonal. But the move he was worried about, I think, was Rook F5. Actually, let's just check this position. Okay, I said I wouldn't put on one of these horrible engines, but even Rook F5, it doesn't do anything, does it? He can even play this. It's just harmless. He protects again. There's nothing. There's no attack. Okay. There's no attack. It's gone. It's 3 pawns down, but he gives me a pawn back just to get into an endgame, which is very grovelly for me. The opposite coloured bishops don't provide too much solace because I haven't got time, unfortunately, in this position. I was a bit excited, believe it or not, optimistic that, you know, maybe G5 I get bishop here and then play G6. That was the plan. No time. I'm going to lose the G pawn because he plays this bishop E5. He's going to play check, win the G pawn. No time. So that's my plan. Last plan scampered, and he's going to play check. The rooks are getting kind of vicious with the opposite coloured bishops favouring him. So I'm grovelling. I'm getting done over now. He's forcing a rook exchange. I don't think there was anything else because of check and a rook G1 and probably a mating net with the 2 rooks and the bishop. So for opposite coloured bishops, I'll play on one or two more moves. And it is actually easy with this C3 pawn because well, my G pawn is also weak. So B5, King F5. He plays bishop D2, and there's an ominous threat now coming up. Rook B1 here. He's going to play rook takes and C2. Can't really defend against it. This blockade is not strong enough. So I don't know what to say. I think the whole opening was a mistake because I don't really like playing against the Gruenfeld as a general rule. I hate it. It's one of my least pleasurable openings to play against. I could have played anything else. I've just wasted the white pieces. Last year I did crush one of the FMs I played in about 26 moves, and that was in the English Open. I don't know. I just feel why do I try and break people's pet systems? It's a dangerous game, actually. Unless you really enjoy the positions, the resulting positions and all aspects of them. If things go wrong, you still enjoy the position. But no, I hate the Grunfeld. I shouldn't have gone into this. But Bishop G5, I don't know. There's other aspects to it as well. I think one of my club mates, Paul Georgiou, former club mates, I think he played this with success. It's a less committal line for the centre. So I guess there was some attraction to it because white centre is more solid than usual. If black's being materialistic, and I kind of like general, like gambits like that anyway. So I don't know. I just maybe the key problem with this game is F4 F5. I mean, going down a pawn on purpose, but then not realising in specific position that actually I didn't need to because of this C6 move. Okay, it was a bit of a shock, but he would get a lot of pressure. That D5 square is useful for the queen in some variations. It's not all over. It's a difficult position to play, what he was going on about. So I think this position is just crying out for black to just blast the white centre if given time with B5 B4. So I think I've got to do something, and H4, this plan's interesting, but he's coming in with E5 to blast the centre. It's even more quick. You can either attack the centre from here or from here, and this is actually quicker, of course, because he's unpinning with Queen D6, and it's also useful, a defence on the third rank. So I don't know. E5, very quick undermining of the centre. So f4 was tempting, but then I don't know here. I mean, even in this position, actually, I think this would have been a key improvement. There's a key improvement here, so I should have mentioned this. Rook b1, rook b1. Say knight d7. I don't think you can afford to gambit that. Pardon me. Rook ac8. Say this position, it'll be fine. Say rook ab8 or say knight f6. I can just take. You know, it's not a pawn down or anything, and that'll be fine compared to the game. Still not a position which is ideal, because it's sort of an alien position to me. I don't usually play these positions. So anyway, this is, I'm just weakening my king side, my diagonals, my centre is getting undermined, and it's just highly unpleasant to be 3 pawns down, really, with very little compensation. I hope I can do better as white in the next game I get as white, or the game today. I don't know if there's anything instructive here. I did have some optimism again in this position, but you know, for this pawn moving forward, but hence g5, but yeah, otherwise the bishop's sort of stuck there, not doing much apart from attacking f7. Yeah, bit of a sad game. Maybe there's something instructive for you guys. I don't know. Don't play against Gruenfeld, maybe. His lesson. Comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks very much.